All right, here we go. Thank you everyone for joining us for the inaugural year of the Summit 200. We are so pumped that this race is happening, and we are so pumped to have you in our first year. We put a ton of work into this. We put everything into this for the last year and a half or so, and we just hope that you enjoy it as much as we have enjoyed creating it. We're going to go over just a few things here. This shouldn't take too long. Most of this stuff is in the runner's manual. The last update for the runner's manual was just a couple weeks ago, right after we course scouted. If you haven't read it in its entirety since then, I would recommend doing so because there are a few things that we changed in there throughout the manual. If you have, then you're good to go. So first thing, let's go over is markings. So we're gonna have ribbons on clothespins. We have two different colors there. We have orange and silver striped ribbon, and then we also have a blue ribbon, and then the clothespins have reflective tape on them, so they should pop well at night. And then we'll also have flagging, and same thing, orange and silver striped flag with a little piece of reflective ribbon on there. Lastly, we will have signs, but we will only have signs, turn right, turn left, go straight signs, and some wrong way signs. But we'll only have those at points where our route intersects with itself. So if there's two different directions that you could go on our route, we will have signs at those places. But other than that, no signs. At turns, we will have multiple flags or ribbons leading you around the turn. So we will make sure to mark the turns a little heavier for you. Just keep in mind that the flags are, or the markings are your backup source of navigation. Your number one source of navigation is your GPX file, so make sure to have that downloaded and know how to use it. We just had a friend who had a race last week who's basically a large percentage of the markings were tampered with, taken off the trail. They even switched directional signs. So remember, your GPX is your lifeline. The markings are there to make it so you don't have to constantly look at your GPX.
And make you feel better.
Yeah, they're confidence markers, basically. But if you're ever in doubt, check your GPX, pull up your phone. It's a heck of a lot easier to look on your phone than your watch if you're wondering if you're on course. So that's all we'll say about markings. Required gear. A lot of you have 200-mile experience. A lot of you have ran 200-mile races that likely said that they're going to check your required gear. They might have done it at the beginning and then they didn't do it anymore. I promise you, we will check for your required gear at least twice during the race. That's in addition to when we check at packet pickup. So we're not going to be very lenient on that. We're not going to be lenient at all. The required gear is there for multiple reasons. One, for safety. So it's for all your guys' safety. You know, there's a reason we picked the required gear that we did. Additionally, it's a condition of our permit for the National Forest Service. They require us to have all these things. And lastly, it's for fairness. You know, if one person doesn't carry the required gear and others do, he's carrying less or she's carrying less than the other participants. So all gear must be carried at all times. Doesn't matter if it's hot out, you still have to carry your warm clothes. You know, weather can change very quickly in the mountains. So we've got it for safety, we've got it for our permit, and we've got it for fairness. So there's absolutely no excuse for not having every single piece of required gear on you at all times. So that's all. I think we've kind of beat that into the ground. Just know that we're checking you. Crew. So I wanted to hit on this one more time, just because this is very important for our permit as well. Crew cannot park along the roads. They always have to park in a designated parking area, a trailhead, a primitive pull-off, or something of that nature. Please drive intelligently. No car camping at aid stations. No camping anywhere other than first come, first serve, dispersed camping areas. Do not be seen in the area of your runner at any times. That is something that we enforce too. We try to narrow the gap as much as possible between crewed runners and uncrewed runners, the advantage gap. So please don't mess with that rule. Don't even be close to your runner if you're crew outside of a crewed aid station. Crew can't go and meet their runners from an aid. They can't go in from an aid station, meet their runners before they get there. Just wait until they're there. And I think that is about it on crew. I think the only thing I want to say about that, and this goes for runners too, is please represent the ultra running community in a positive way. Show the communities that are involved in this race that we go through, the permitting agencies, and everyone else that has anything to do with this race, that the ultra running community is awesome, because we know they are. And let's just show them that we can handle ourselves well.
My turn. I'm going to talk about a few things as well. The first thing is going to be your GPX files. Those are mandatory, required, and they must be on your phone, and your phone must be charged at all times. Like Chase has already said, your GPS is your lifeline. If you are unsure about an intersection, course markings have been tampered with, your GPS is going to save you. I think we've kind of beat that to death as well, but we want to do one more time. Next, we're going to talk about packet pickup. That's going to be mandatory on Sunday afternoon. It will take place from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the North Shuttle Lot aid station in Keystone. You will need to bring your mandatory gear, because there will be a mandatory gear check that we will have before we will give you your bib and get your pre-race photos done. You can also bring your drop bags if they're ready. Just make sure that they are labeled with all the required information on them that's in the runner's manual. Again, that's on Sunday, 7/21 from 1 to 4 p.m. Then we'll have race morning from 4:15 to 4:45 at the Nordic Center. You can come and get your mandatory GPS tracker and drop off drop bags if you did not on Sunday afternoon. Race will start promptly at 5 a.m., so don't be late. You're going to want the time. And
one thing I'll say about the required gear check at packet pickup is have it all in your pack.
Yes.
Because we want to see that you can fit it all in your pack.
And we'll be requiring you to show us that you have your GPS on your phone and that you know how to access it and use it, because it's important. And another thing, I think Chase kind of touched on this, is handling yourselves well when you're going through towns. Breckenridge, let's say, when you get into town, if you're going through at night, be courteous of the people that live there. Make sure you turn off your headlight and you're being quiet. Just make yourself quiet as a little mouse going through town.
That's about it, right?
Volunteers.
Yeah. Like I mentioned before, guys, our goal is to narrow the gap, the advantage gap between crewed and uncrewed runners as much as possible at this kind of a race. So when you get to an aid station, our goal is that you can just sit down in your chair as soon as you get there, and we take care of everything you need, besides like changing your shoes and socks and taking care of your feet, things like that. But sit down, let us fill your bottles, let us get whatever food you want. The food's going to be made to order, so get comfortable, take a load off, and let us take care of you. Our goal is to have some of the very best aid stations that you've ever experienced at a race. The password for this video, we're going to ask you a packet pickup just to make sure you've watched it, is going to be your middle name.
Yes. I like to know people's middle names.
We figured that would be easy for you all to remember. So just when we ask you for the password, just say your middle name. And what else, hon?
I think that's it.
I think that is it. If we forgot anything, we will send an email, I guess. But this will serve as your pre-race briefing on race morning. We'll just have a very short 5-minute or less talk before the race. Again, thank you all for joining us in our inaugural year, and we are pumped to watch this thing go down, and we're so excited to hand you a buckle after 200 miles in Summit County.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.